In my first marriage, I will never forget the eye-opening moment that I had in therapy. I had been, we had done years of couples therapy, all this stuff, da 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 da. And I realized I've been wasting all this time trying to fix him or trying to fix this thing when ultimately my shit is broken. And if I don't fix that, then I'm not going to show up well for anybody. Like, I'm not going to be able
The
to.
epiphany, yo. That's like really the epiphany.
But it's hard, like, especially I'm going to call, I'm not projecting onto you, but there's a whole group of us insecure overachievers out there where we've been amazing in life. We've been great students. We've been this, we've been leaders, all this stuff. And to have to like look in the mirror and say, there's actually shit about myself I do not like. Right?
Yep.
Right?
I mean, that's how I started in therapy. I literally started going to therapy because one person too many told me people don't like you.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, I gotta go talk about this because I don't know. I just feel like that's such a huge thing that a lot of women who are overachieving leaders don't want to face because they think it's going to undermine their ability to overachieve and lead.
Yeah. And it's done the exact opposite. Like I say this with all love to my ex-husband because I wish him well. He's great. He was not a horrible human being by any stretch of the imagination. But Serge would not exist if I hadn't gotten divorced, period. I wouldn't have been able to live into the thing that was my calling and my purpose because I was spending so much time trying to be a smaller version of myself in order to make something work.
Why? What?
The answer is always the patriarchy.
The patriarchy. I mean, it's just because honestly, like the whole being a smaller person, it aligns with even what we're talking about with these educators, right? Because when you're in these spaces that are so white dominant, like that are so systemic, you naturally become smaller out of just safety, right?
Well, because you've been told that you take up too much space. And when you do take up space, we've all heard the thing, oh, you're
Make
intimidating.
Sure to listen to my episode, Side Effects of Too Much.
You're intimidating. You're this, you're that,
You're extra.
Right. Oh, I've been extra my whole life.
Let me tell you something. My sophomore year of college, I was in a suite. When I walked up to the door, my name was not on the door, but everybody else's name was on the door. And I literally walked up with my ex, Devon, and he looked over and my name had been strewn to the side. So I already knew, like, all right, well, we about to walk into...
What were you walking into? Okay.
BS, right?
All right.
So I'm in this suite with like my actual roommate. She was fine, but everybody else had like issues with me and I did not know what these issues were. And so one night I was like, okay, I would like to schedule for us on a Friday night to like take tequila shots and each of y'all could tell me what your issue is with me. And literally 5 out of the 6, the issue was, well, you're just really extra. You're just too much. You're a show off. You're a lot. And I was just like, I mean, in like what way? Because I'm flat chested, so my booty ain't poking out. Like I'm barely hitting puberty at this point. So I'm still like, what is it? Well, you doing cartwheels. Like there's a field. Why wouldn't I do cartwheels? Like this makes sense to me. But like it dawned on me in that moment, like, oh, if you want them to like you, like you're gonna have to like be smaller. And I spent a long time being that because extra.
Yeah. Did you find your people? Have you found your people?
Oh yeah. I definitely found my people. They're extra too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you realize. Like, so I'm not going to get all into
and one of those became like my people.
Yeah.
Hey, Em. Yes.
Because the thing is, so I would talk through a strengths-based lens because I do strengths coaching. Strengths.
Okay.
Strengths.
I was like, string space. What is that? Is that a thread? What does that mean? Okay.
Sorry, that's my Alabama coming out. People see you and experience you through the lens of their own strengths, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
you're extra because that would be so uncomfortable for me, right? Like that would be so your willingness to do cartwheels and the thing, like I would be embarrassed as hell. So you should be embarrassed too. Like just understanding that
Dang, that
people's,
mirror.
my mom used to always say, like, R.I.P. Wanda, like that woman, she would
Hey,
always
Wanda.
say, like, it ain't about you. She would say that all the time. It ain't about you. It's not about you. I hated hearing that as a kid. I thought that was the ultimate adult cop out. Like, I was like, what do you mean? But I now understand, like, this was before reading Ruiz's 4 Agreements.
It's over there.
She is like, what she was saying is like, don't take shit personal. Like most of what happens to you, even for you, is often not even about you. And like, it just helps. And I feel like I could write a book of all the wisdom that I got. I lost my mom when I was 23.
Sorry to hear.
Thank you. And her best friend once said to me, maybe a year after her death, you know, my mom was disabled my entire life. And she said, your mom was so tired. And she said she was going to let go when she knew that you were ready. Now imagine hearing this at 23, 24. I was like, that math ain't mathing. I ain't ready. Like I'm still, you know, but I think about so much of what she poured into me that has helped me show up in spaces in the way, like that whole, like,
I mean, 3 years later, you were 26 telling them
telling
people,
exactly.
go fuck yourself.
Exactly. And it's because like of just her stuff that she had poured into me. And so I really do believe like, and we've gone, you know, in lots of places with this, but we can't lead people to their breakthrough from our brokenness. So unless
say it again.
I said, we cannot lead other people to their breakthrough from our brokenness.
That's, you putting that on a mug? Like
I should.
Because that right there is so profound. I think that so many people don't, first of all, so many people don't even feel like they need to help others and like lead, right? But they fear their brokenness, not realizing that like there's so much strength.
Yes. And that's particularly to bring it back to our educators. The reason that our work and the heart and spirit part of our work is so important is because if you don't do that, like you can learn all the skills and all that stuff, but you are inevitably going to have to fight against something.
Yeah.
Something is going to come against you. And if you haven't actually done the work to deal with the limiting beliefs and all the other bullshit that we carry, then you won't be able to withstand that. So what we're trying to do is actually create, as I said earlier, this container of care, pour into our people so that they can sustain over time. It's not just about get that next promotion, be the next superintendent. Like, yes, we want all of that, but we want you to actually be able to thrive when you're there. And that means you got to have community and you have to have done your work so that you can support other people in doing theirs.
Well, y'all can support me by going to my Patreon, the Amandaverse, where we are going to be answering your questions. So head on over to the Patreon, Amanda Seals, or you can go to the Amandaverse. It's a universe of Amanda.com.
What?
Like an A in Florida.
Exactly.
Well, let me just tell you, when we moved to Florida from LA when I was 8, my mom told my teacher, Ms. Gill, you know, Amanda needs to gets tested for gifted in Florida. And Ms. Gill was like, well, just because she was gifted in California don't mean she's gifted in Florida. And my mom was like, I can promise you that if she is gifted in California, she's double gifted in Florida. So there you go.
I love when you do your mom's accent. I think I know her just based on that accent.